and the journey begins. Here I am, day 1 of packing. I've just made up some boxes. I'm going to need a lot more. But that's okay. We have to start. Hey guys, it's Froniga here from Aussies Do Down Under Homeschool season, or should I call it moving season, because I'm on the move. So I told you last week we were moving house. Here is the damage so far. Doesn't look too bad. It actually looks like I haven't done that much packing, but it's sporadic. The house literally looks like a bomb went off. I am busy making boxes out of these. I am taping them up. Little hint, you should always have too many boxes is better than not enough. And if you buy them from Bunnings, you can always take them back if you don't use them. But you don't want to get to the last night and have lots of things left over, and I really need this to run smoothly. Now I am leaving in a few days, so I have a whole house pretty much to pack. Haven't even started the kitchen yet, but I'm going to show you in this episode a few tips, a few things I'm learning along the way, and I don't know, whatever else I can think of. You can see it's dark outside, so I'm a little bit... So I've just ordered pizza, which is kind of a staple when you are moving, I think. That and fish and chips. I literally am living off junk food because I don't want to buy anything and then have it all stuck in my fridge to have to move. So I've been trying to go through everything in the freezer, and when I can't be bothered, like it's getting late, I'll just order in. So I think I'm putting on weight. That's one thing you need to realize when you're moving. And another thing you need to realize is that by the time you get into your new home, you're probably going to want to eat vegetables for at least 2 months and nothing else, because I'm really sick of junk food at the moment and my belly is getting a lot bigger. Anyway, enjoy the ride. Okay, so yay, I have packed my first box. I've put some books in there. Most of it is just books. Now, books are super heavy, so if you're ever packing, make sure you get the small boxes for your books, or the movers won't be very happy with you. And pack them, here's a tip. When you're packing book boxes, pack them where you want them to stay, because they're super heavy and you may not be able to move them very easily after you've finished packing them. So I usually put them against a wall and then pack them there so that I'm not having to move them again. They'll just stay there until the movers come. Here, what I do is I pack it, say, 2/3 of the way up with books, and just to keep it a little bit lighter, then what I'll do is I'll put in some lighter stuff. So in this one, I'm putting in a couple of light baskets that have nothing in them. And that way, it doesn't get too heavy for the movers, or for myself, just in case I need to move it. That's my tip. First box down, guys. Yay! Here we go. Okay, so some of the things, and I know some of this is really obvious to most people, but just in case, I thought I'd add it in. But some of the things you're going to need when you're packing are these packing, I don't know what you call them, but you put the roll of tape around them, just like that, and then it helps you to sort of pack the box, and I'll show you what I mean when I'm fixing up the boxes. Obviously, then you're going to need some tape. I've got a couple there. I need to get some more. You can get another one. These are relatively cheap, so I suggest getting a couple, because one of the things I've really noticed about packing, and I do a lot of it, is that when you are packing, because you're all around the house all the time, you tend to put them down and forget where they are. So I like to have 2 of everything happening so that I'm always able to find one when I need it, because unlike I should, I sort of tend to drift through the house doing multiple sort of boxes here and there, rather than starting in one spot and working my way around. And I only do that because sometimes I'll have a box finished and then I go looking for other things to fit into the top of that box. just to fill it up. Maybe I'm looking for light stuff. Maybe I'm looking for particular things that go with what I've put in that box. So I tend to drift around the house. Another thing you're going to need are these markers. Now again, I would have a few of them going. So you use those obviously to mark the top of the boxes. That way, when you get to the other end and you're unpacking, you know exactly where that box should go. And some of the things you should put, obviously, is not only what's in the box, so this one has books and trinkets, but also where it's going to go in the new house, because maybe you're not at the front door directing the movers as they come through, and this just gives them an easy reference. You walk through the house when you first get there, show them where all the rooms are, and then they know sort of where it's going. So you're less likely to have things end up in the wrong place if you mark where they're going. Another thing you're going to need is a lot of bubble wrap. These, look, again, they're not that expensive. Realistically, when you're buying your supplies for packing, it's not a cheap experience. All these things start to add up. So separately, they're not expensive, but once you add them all up, it does, you're looking at a few $100s for boxes, packing tapes, and this sort of bubble wrap or paper. But at the end of the day, it's cheaper than, having someone else come and pack your house for you. And of course, the last thing you're going to need is boxes. Here we go. Boxes. That's all sorts of sizes and shapes. So these big ones are great for bigger sort of trinkets. And see how I group things together before I put them in the box? That way, if I know roughly what I'm putting in the box, it helps me. I put it on the side, I see what I've got, and I start. It's like Jenga, yes? When you're playing Jenga and you got to fit. Is it Jenga? No, Jenga's the one you take it out. It's Tetris. Tetris, how you're trying to put things into the slot? Well, packing is a lot like Tetris. So I tend to have everything there beside the box I want to put it in, and then I start packing it and sort of packing it into the places, trying to fill up as much as I can so that things aren't moving, and then they're less likely to break when they're in the truck. Another box tip I have, just while I'm on my box tips, when I am putting the tape around the bottom of the box, I use quite a bit of tape because that's where all the weight is going to be when you're picking them up. However, on the top, I don't waste this precious resource, yes, because it's quite expensive to pack. So when you're packing it, put more tape on the bottom and then just put a couple on top, because there's no real sort of necessity to put a lot on top. You're just then wasting tape. Okay, so I've got another tip for you. If you've got something small but is breakable, and you have something that's sort of a little bit bigger with a hole in it, and you can fit this into that, what I suggest you do is bubble wrap the breakable item and then shove it in the other one. And the tighter the better, because it's not going to move around as much. So I can't do that with one hand, but I'm about to do that, and then I'll show you what I mean. Voila, I've now put it in there, and that is kind of acting as its own little container, so it's not going to come out very easily, especially once I have packed it in there, but it just gives you an extra thing in there. It stops this being hollow, so it's less likely to break as well, and you've got a little bit of bubble wrap in there to protect it from moving around. Great idea to save some room. Okay, so you might be wondering why I have all my pillows or cushions stacked up in a pile. I've even got one that's a bit broken that I'll probably throw away, but I don't throw it away yet. I'll show you what I do with my cushions. A little tip my mum has actually taught me along the way. So this is one of those tea chest ones. It's quite a tall one, not as small as the book boxes. And I'm putting in, like decorative kind of things, vases, a boat that I have, a couple of other little trinkets in there that I use for decorating my shelves. And over here, I have some of the dining table decorations. So last Christmas we used this down the middle of the table, and there's a couple of others there that we use every now and then for special occasions. So what I'm going to do is, because they're quite a soft thing, I'm going to pop them on the top of the box and push them in so they kind of fill in the spots that you have left, and pack it all nice and tight, so again that it's not moving around when you're moving in the moving van. And then I use these pillows as a buffer. So you'll find most of the time when they pack your boxes in the truck, the boxes are going to be packed on top of each other. And just in case, you know, sort of something moves in transit, you don't want it sort of hitting against the next box underneath. So what I do at the top of each box, especially things that might have some breakables in it, I shove one of these pillows in and push it down nice and tight. If I can get it nice and tight, if it doesn't pop out on me. And then I push it and tape it down with this actually in the box, all nice and snuggy, which is hard to do with one hand. And that way, when another box goes on top, which it most likely will, whatever's on top of it's not going to be pushing on a hard thing at the top of the box. It's just a little tip my mum taught me. She also uses bed linen for the same reason. So she doesn't pack the bed linen in its own container. She uses all of her bed linen to pack around things in the boxes so that it's protecting whatever's in the box. And it just acts as another sort of form of bubble wrap, but it's free. You already have it. So, little tip. That one goes out to my mum. Thanks, Mum. It's now Sunday morning, Father's Day, and it's a beautiful day outside, as you can see. And what have I got to do? Packing. We have made up a lot of boxes last night, so hopefully we get quite a lot done today, but wish me luck. Here I go. Anyway. Hey guys, we are going for a trip over to our other house. We have a rental property and it's vacant at the moment, which is good because all our settlements are happening at the same time. So we're going to need kind of like two nights in sort of camping, glamping, whatever you want to call it, at our other house. So it's good that it's vacant at the moment. So there's a couple of things I don't really want to take with the movers. It's not that I don't trust them, but you know, it's better safe than sorry, I always say, and some things are better just to come with you. So we thought we'd bring Hunter's drum kit, as you can see behind me, to the other house, just so it's safe. And then later on when we're set up with all the furniture in the new place, we'll bring it back. There's also some family heirlooms that I just want to keep with me, that I'll take with me. And because this new house that we're going to has less bedrooms, so there's a couple of things that don't fit at the new place because it's 4 bedrooms and our house where we're living at the moment is slightly bigger. So I've got a couple of beds that were just spare beds. I'm going to put them at the rental property just until I work out what I can sort of get in there, what I can fit, which beds the kids want. Sienna's changing her bed, so she's going to use a different bed now. So we're sort of swapping and changing. I'll see how that works, and then after a month or so, maybe we still may use that. So I don't want to get rid of it yet. Otherwise, then I'll probably sell them all, or give them away. But anyway, onward and upward. We will check back with you later. Hunter, by the way. Yes. Say hi, Hunter. Free. Bye, guys. So me and the kids are going back to the house to keep packing. We've just dropped off our drumming equipment, and now
and that little dog.
And now we're going back. All good. See you soon.